live to see her stepson reach the heights that Napoleon Hill did. When Napoleon Hill was writing Think and Grow Rich, he'd written the manuscript, and he sent it to the publisher. The publisher said, I need the title for the book. Looks good, sounds okay. He says, he wrote down, sat on his typewriter and wrote down about 500 different titles. Whatever came to his mind, he wrote it down. 500 titles for just one book. And his publisher said, not nice, not good enough. He felt it was not good enough. And then he spoke to the source, to the power that we hear about in The Secret, which is what you are. You are the power that you're talking to. You know, I'm trying to create a newsletter called Being. And the subtitle of this newsletter is going to be Shut the Noise to Hear the Voice, or something to that effect. Because it's the noise we all live in, or live with. When we silence the noise, we can hear the voice. Our voice of our conscience, of the source that we are connected with, if you're connected with the source. Otherwise, if you're not connected to the source, you'll always be floating on noise. But once you get connected to your source, your noise suddenly slows down and silences out and becomes your voice. And that's when you hear the power that you are. And then you put it into the process of thinking, creating, becoming, and all that. And you come to realize that this is what gets you to your destination, your goal, your objective. Okay. So when Napoleon Hill was going through this, and he met all the people, and he did his homework, he got the 500 titles, none of them were good enough. He gave them to the publisher, and he said, no, we have to think of something better, something good. So he connected one day. The publisher called him one day. He says, Napoleon, that's it. If I don't get a title for your book tomorrow, I'm going to write the title. So what title do you have? And he said something very strange. Use your noodle to get the boodle, something to that effect. Hey, wait a minute, I don't want this title because my book is worth its weight in gold. And I don't want this nonsense title like that. I'll come up with something. And then that night, he sat on his bed and he connected himself with the source. And he talked to the source loudly, very loud. He says, you listen to me. I want $1 million title by the time I wake up tomorrow morning. And I don't care how you're going to do it, I want the title. That's what he did. He just spoke to the source. He was angry. And he spoke to the source in a loud voice. And that night, he woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Think and Grow Rich was in his mind. He went to the typewriter. He wrote the title down before he could forget. He called the publisher at 3 o'clock in the morning. Hello? Hey, what's happening? Is the city on fire? He says, no! I got the title! He says, okay, give it to me. He says, Think and Grow Rich. Boy, you've got it! You know? And that's what got the book so popular. That connection with the source. That noise. Silence of the noise. The voice told him what the title was. The first few years, the book was not selling very well. It was not selling well at all. Publisher gave him back his manuscript. He read it through, and he found something missing. This power is not coming through. The words are okay, the sentences are proper, the combination is well placed. What's wrong? Why am I not getting that feeling that I've put into the book? And then he realized that as he was writing the first few chapters of his book, he was in a state of denial, a negative state of mind. And that reflected in the words and in the statements that he made in the book. So he sat and rewrote everything. First he got himself all psyched up into this very powerful, positive state of mind. Very powerful and very positive. He got himself psyched. No, this is what I am the best. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. I am that riches that I'm dreaming of. I am. That's what I am. And he got himself so psyched up, he sat down and rewrote the entire chapter, few chapters of the book. and resubmitted the manuscript to the publisher. Today we all know how many copies of this book has been sold. I think a few years before Napoleon Hill's passing away, something like 17 million copies had been sold at that time. At that time. And it's been translated into many languages. It is still being sold, left, right, and center. And can you imagine just 10 cents on the dollar as royalty for Napoleon Hill Trust? Just imagine, 10 cents. I was thinking of $1, but $1 is a little too much to think about it, because now there are so many million copies sold. And the Napoleon Hill Trust is now marketing not only books, his books, but his audios, CDs, whatever. And there's money coming in from all sales. So it's not very difficult, really, when you think about what he talked about, Think and Grow Rich. It's one of the easiest and most, it's a doable or learnable formula. It can be done. It can be put into practice and created. A product or a result can be created which will be to your satisfaction. Every individual will have their own levels of satisfaction. Every individual is here for a particular reason, a particular focus, has a purpose, and it is all dependent on the purpose of that individual, how much will satisfy him. If the purpose, like Napoleon Hill's famous word about burning desire, when you have a burning desire to do anything, a definite enough purpose will automatically take shape. It will make sure that it will put you on the track to action. Mastermind, as I said, was the second step of his Your Right to Be Rich formula. And third step was applied faith. Now, faith does not mean religion, does not mean beliefs. Okay? But it is something that a practical approach to creation is what applied faith is all about. The fourth, and is one of the most important things. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the fourth part of his steps is going the extra mile. We were talking about that earlier, yesterday, Alan. That you must give. You must create an environment of giving, irrespective of what you're going to get. If you're going to give based on what you're going to get, your giving will not be pure. It will always be adulterated, and what you get will also be adulterated. So when you plant a seed and you say, I want the crop tomorrow, it's not possible. You plant the seed and you got to wait. And you may have to wait a week, you may have to wait a month, you may have to wait a year or longer, depending on the kind of fruits you're looking for. If the fruit is something like mango, it takes 15 years to bear fruit. But every seed has in it, now we all know how big a seed is. Every seed has in it the capacity to grow a forest, mind you. Not just a second tree or 10 trees, but an entire forest. Because one seed can give you millions of seeds, and those millions will create millions and millions and millions more. So you can imagine the one seed, and when you think that, oh, this is such a powerful seed, let me break and see what's inside. What do you see inside? A mushy brown powder, nothing else. There is no form of a tree in that seed, not even a leaf, not even a flower, nothing that resembles a tree, and yet it has the potential to create entire forests. Think about it. It's we all have seeds within us. Our desires, what it is we want. As long as you know that, as long as you have the definiteness of purpose, you'll be able to plant the seed, and you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are here to create your world. Your world. You cannot create anybody else's world, but you can create your world. You have the seed within you. This is what The Secret has been trying to talk about in today's world. Because today's world, people have become receptive to this idea. These ideas have been talked about in scriptures and in books.